Welcome to the greatest podcast ever, featuring DrayZera, performance artist, Jackie Hyde, professional wrestler, and singer-songwriter Dan Pettit. Welcome to DrayZera Uncensored. Subscribe, like, and share only on DrayZera Uncensored. Welcome everyone to another episode of DrayZera Uncensored. This is a one-on-one interview. Oh my lasagna. Now, I have got someone very, very special. We have got a woman of steel. She's not Superwoman. She's not from Sheffield. This is Amanda Steele. Hello there.
Hello. Oh, my throat's gone there, sorry.
It's a very good start to this chat, isn't it?
No.
Can't we start again? No, I'm joking. Yeah, so yeah, Amanda, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm good.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. I mean, so you've written quite a bit of stuff, I have to say. But before we talk about that, let's see why we're here today. The reason why we're here today is because Amanda here is a copywriter. She is a multi-genre author, and fam, she is so good at her work that Ghost of Me is in the finalists of the thriller category of the Author Elite Awards 2020, and I don't see Michael Jackson's song Thriller in that. Right, Amanda?
No, he didn't make it. I knocked him out of the finalists.
Absolutely. And yes, for all those that are listening right now, we all know he's been dead for 12 years. Don't kill the joke. Anyway, tee-hee. Anyway, right. Anyway, jokes aside. Yeah, so tell me, Amanda, what began your passion of writing and all that?
I've always written for as long as I can remember, really. I hope I've improved as I've got older. I think it was about 2015 when I started writing and publishing books. I've had a couple of publishers, but they've gone bust since, so I've just self-published all my books.
Yeah, because at the end, these guys are like, wow, they just couldn't handle your book. So you're like, right, screw you guys, I'm doing it my way.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like the fact that they were selling my books at £19.99 because I think that's a bit much for a book.
$19.99? That's mad. That is mad. Like, that's like autobiography.
You just start pricing my books. No one's going to buy them at that price.
That's like autobiography Anton Deck level, isn't it? That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet.
No, I was just going to say, so you said only 5 years ago, so what were you doing before that? Because I have to say, we're in 2020 now. That 5-year turnaround, that is incredible.
I did used to write, but it was just to dip in and out of it, really. And then I was just doing like boring packing jobs and things like that. And then just like writing, like as and when I got time, instead of just like sitting down and making time to write.
So what was the actual spark that made you think that you wanted to do it as a career? Because obviously, like, being a writer is a very thankless task because the amount of edits you have to do, the amount of detail you have to go through. I mean, what made you think about this? Yes, this is what I want to do. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, was it a light bulb moment? Is it something that you've always wanted to do, or is it something that in the last 5 years you're like, yes, this is me?
I think I've always wanted to do it, but it's just I did some courses with the Open University, some creative writing courses, and one of those, for part of it, you had to write the start of a novel. So after that, I got marked and I got feedback for it. I just carried on writing the book until I'd finished it, and then I just couldn't stop writing books after that.
Yeah, I see. That's fair. I mean, so when it comes to multi-genre, you've got books such as Ghost of Me, which we've said is quite acclaimed. You've got The Destiny, Intuitive. You've got After the Zombies, Not Human, Pieces of Me, Lost and Found. Wow, these are all like these definitely don't sound like happy romance novels. I have to say, this is like these. Obviously, I haven't read any of the books yet, but I feel like this is like very deep. Is that something that you wanted to project to the audience, or this is obviously just me assuming based on the title? So tell me about it.
Yeah, so Lost and Found is sort of a women's fiction book, but it's not like the typical sort of like romance kind of book. It's about a woman that finds out that her whole life is a lie, and she was kidnapped as a child when she was in a park and sold to a wealthy couple and told that they were her parents. So then she gets reunited with her real parents, and so she's just struggling to deal with all of that.
Wow. And that character is called Alicia Black. So what was how did you get how was that name created? Cause that sounds pretty that sounds a pretty deep and well thought out name.
Well, the character's called Kayla Marshall, but the name Alicia Black came about because that's one of the books I first had published with a publisher, and they
Oh,
went
so
bust.
was this
They
like your
went bust.
alias?
Yeah, they went bust and they didn't pay any royalties to anybody, which was very nice of them. And then it took them ages to take the book down, so I had to go around telling people not to buy the book,
Oh wow.
which is really unusual because normally people
Don't
are
buy
saying,
the
"Please
book.
buy my book." And then I wanted to bring it back out again, but I needed to make it obvious which was the book that they should buy, so I had to do it under a different name, and then just tell people, "Buy this book, don't buy that book."
Oh, so you only made remind me, you made the name Alicia Black to differentiate from your last publisher, not because you suddenly transformed into some guy called DrayZera and have a different persona, yeah?
No, I don't know who that guy is.
I
It's a
don't
bit
know who he is.
strange.
Don't know who he is. As of recording, guys, Amanda also made a guest appearance on the Wrestle Up podcast. She saw DrayZera, and we talked a bit about a guy that rhymes with DrayZera, John Cena. But anyway, we're not talking about a guy that we can't see. Let's move on. But yeah, that's really fascinating because that made me think to myself because one topic that I haven't really talked about in this podcast is the politics with publishers, because it seems to me, based on what you've just told me, is they took you for a ride, didn't they?
Yeah, there's so many publishers out there that are just looking to rip people off. You've just got to be careful, and you just can't know sometimes until it's too late.
Wow. So in other words, are you saying that essentially publishers um there's a high percentage of publishers that tend to have, let's say, I don't know, ill intentions, or are they literally just printing for a buck? Or do they not have a passion for writing? Or tell me, is it like the music industry where like publishers are money hungry? Like, tell me more about this.
Well, I think it is about money, but I wouldn't say like the big publishers like Penguin and those kind of publishers are going to rip you off. But the smaller publishers, you've just got to be careful and just
Mhm.
look into it really.
Mhm.
Just see who they've published, what the books are like, what the editing's like, and so on.
Is
And
that
if there's like any bad reviews about them, people not being paid and such.
wow? So you're telling me essentially that it's no wonder you've gone to self-publishing, because to me it feels like you thought to yourself, well, I mean, I trust no one. I am doing this my
That's
own way.
right.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible. Mm, that's incredible. But yeah, let's talk about the Destiny Initiative series. So you've got three books in there. That's the trilogy series. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've got the first two books out, and the third and final one is coming out in December, and
Ooh,
that's a
so
teen
when
fiction, but it's aimed more at 14 plus because there's some violence in it.
ooh, nice. We at the DrayZera Uncensored podcast with my usual co-host, who's a professional wrestler and a former boxer. That we do like the violence kind of thing. But anyway, talking about that, so that will be when this comes out. It'll be next month, because this will come out in November. So, woo, yes. So let's
Yeah.
let's talk about promoting. So tell us why. Obviously, I'm assuming with Pieces of Me, you should buy the first two books. Is it one of those where you have to get the first two books to get the third book, or is it one of those where they could buy the third book? Or do you know what I'm saying here? Because some people
Yeah,
don't read in
I
order.
think I think you definitely. I think you definitely need to buy the first two books so you won't understand what's going on. I mean,
Hmm.
you still might not understand anyway, but it'll definitely help.
Oh yeah, definitely, and yeah. So tell us about the Destiny Initiative series, because that sounds mad because it seems based on the titles, it seems post-apocalyptic. It seems like someone is playing God. I don't know. These are just based on my initial thoughts. Tell me about it.
Okay, so there's the main character Meredith, and she's destined to save the world, and she has special powers. She's descended from mermaids, and she's also a lesbian, which is quite positive as well. I think people have liked the fact that it's not just like a young adult fiction, and she's going to get together with the main guy because he's more like a brother to her.
That's pretty clever, and obviously like it gives a different scope of things because that kind of I mean I don't know. Have you seen an Amazon Prime series called The Boys?
Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, I've just watched the second series. Now we won't spoil too much, but obviously like that the first thing that you mentioned about superheroes and mermaids, and I remembered in a series. Well, obviously from because I've watched every episode. Where Queen Maeve, they portrayed her as as an LGBT character, which is cool, and it kind of gave me those kind of vibes because obviously in superhero films is a very stereotypical male-female dynamic. So it's very good that you're bringing about like a completely different scope of things because I believe that the whole male-female is very saturated. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
I think people expect it sometimes, so you've just got to do something a bit different that they're not going to expect, so they'll just like do a double take and then just like sit down and read it then.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's very very good. I mean, this is always very fascinating because cause this story in itself definitely has got me so hooked that makes me think, I might need to get this trilogy here. I mean, it definitely does sound pretty good, and like the thing is like talking about these books and all that. I mean, it must be because you're self-publishing. How has it been in terms of like promoting yourself? Because obviously, when it comes to so with me, obviously with my first book that came out 3 years ago, Broken Circuit Board, link in description, guys. The thing is that I initially so there's two ways of getting the book. The first way is what I don't prefer is Amazon because Mr. Jeff Bezos, a man likes his profits. So much so, Amanda,
Yeah.
he is the richest man in the world. He's overtaken Bill Gates. How has that happened? But the second way is literally like I have a whole stock of books in my house, and obviously I'd get a much more higher cut because essentially they're right in front of me. so yeah, I mean, so how hard has it been when it comes to promotion and all that kind of stuff, or have you found it a lot more of a breeze doing it by yourself?
Well, the first book in the series was another one that was originally with a publisher, so I did a lot of promoting for it the first time round. I got interviewed on a podcast on Canal Street in Manchester, and to be honest, that was a bit of a disaster. I won't go into
Really?
that.
Tell me about what happened. What happened? Was the podcast a disaster? Was their series a disaster? I mean, obviously here at the DrayZera Uncensored podcast, we hold to high standard here, apparently. But no, what happened?
So the person who was interviewing me, they obviously wanted the book or something, or they just didn't like me or whatever, I don't know. And everyone else, I think, got about 10 or 15 minutes for the interview, and I got about 4 minutes, and then they told me it hadn't recorded, so I had to do it all over again.
Wow.
And by then, my mouth was so dry I could barely talk, and I think I did about 3 minutes, and it was a bit nonsense. And then they cut it down to 90 seconds when it finally
90 seconds? This podcast that we're chatting right now has already gone on for nearly 14 minutes, and I ain't editing anything out. So did this podcast not even give you water?
No water.
What?
It was above a bar, so I suppose they just thought, oh, she would go down and buy an expensive drink if she gets thirsty.
What? This is unacceptable. I'm telling you right now, here at the DrayZera Uncensored podcast, even though we're talking for a virtual world, we will always hydrate our guests. Always hydrate your guests, everybody, because this is nothing short of deplorable actions.
I know, trying to dehydrate me to death.
Oh man, goodness gracious me, that's incredible. Wow. So that must have, not to pardon the pun, that must have left a bad taste in your mouth.
I think it would have knocked my confidence a lot more if I hadn't had an interview on a podcast about a week later, and that just went really well compared to that. So it just confirmed to me, well, it's just a host.
Yeah.
It's like if you get a good host, it'll go well. If you get a bad host, you know, it might not go well.
90 seconds. That's not an interview. That's like BBC News report when when it comes to a news report on TV, right? When they have to piece together a news story, right? They talk to somebody for 5 minutes and then it's just edited down like to one little bit. Do you know what I mean? That made me feel like that.
Yeah.
Wow. That is incredible. That is incredible. Wow. Oh man. Ooh. What's this? Shop. I'm looking at your website. Shop now. What is paid? Oh, is this an advert? Creative
I
options.
don't know. I can't see.
Oh, see, I'm just on your website. So I'm just having a look here. It's like affiliate links. Shop now. Creative options. Stylist, craft, storage, travel organizers. Ooh.
Oh, I've just got a couple of affiliate links at the bottom. That's all. Just trying to make some money to buy some more beans for my beans on toast.
Oh, beans on toast. Now, the question is, right? Now, when it comes to beans on toast, is beans on toast good by just beans with the toast, or do you add cheese to it?
Cheese is better, yeah. But
Mm.
if you don't have cheese, then just beans on toast, but just put lots of butter on the toast.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Good old butter on the toast, absolutely. And oh man, it's I mean I was talking to people who are writers, and writers stereotypically tend to stay indoors, to write. Do you know what I mean, right? In stereotypically speaking. So with this pandemic that's happened this year, how has it affected your writing, or has it not really affected it at all? Because it seems to me you are very busy.
Yeah, I think I've been doing more actually. I mean, obviously a lot of it is virtually. Like a few weeks ago, I was at a reading in Texas on Zoom,
Oh wow.
and I think there were three English people, and everyone else was from Texas. I don't know what they made of us.
I'm pretty sure stereotypically, people in Texas, they're probably like, oh my god, I don't know what they're saying with their accent because I don't know if
Yeah.
this is a stereotype from our end because in England, due to probably Looney Tunes or whatever, we stereotypically think Texans sound like that, but I don't think that's the case.
No, and tomorrow I'm on radio actually, not a podcast, 5 o'clock in the morning because it's in
Oh,
America.
you mean 1 month ago? Because this is coming out next month. Oh wow, we're in the
Yeah,
future.
yeah, back in time. I'll
Back in
jump in my
time.
time machine.
5 a.m. Wow, that is mad. Like that basically essentially means that whoever like in the place that you're at, you got to be like, you have to be like, hello guys, hi.
Well, my neighbours are quite loud anyway. They were
Oh
laughing and screaming at about 4 o'clock in the morning the other day, so I'm not going
wow.
to be too quiet,
Sounds like
and
you
I'm not
don't
going
need
to
an
feel
alarm.
too guilty either.
Sounds like you don't need an alarm clock. Oh man,
No.
that definitely sounds mad. But no, that's pretty good. I mean, obviously, like I guess with this pandemic, what's happened is we've had a sudden Zoom boom era. I mean, can you imagine the share price of Zoom before this pandemic began?
I know, I wish I had shares in it, but I just had no way of knowing.
I know nobody knew. Like, actually, we're gonna find out Zoom wiki. I'm actually gonna find out their share price. Uh, Eric Yuan. Wow, this company was founded back in 2011. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is incredible. So I'm just reading up now. Yeah, like growth. Let's see, IPO and award. Let's see. Wow, that's mad. But no, yeah. So I was just like looking into it. But no, while I'm quickly researching into it, tell me then, when it comes to writing, do you feel that you can be potentially your own worst critic, or is it more of a more relaxing kind of feeling when it comes to writing, or is it a whole myriad of emotions?
And sometimes I can't tell because I might be a bit biased, so I'll just assume everything that I write is rubbish until anyone tells me otherwise. And then even then, I might not believe it.
Wow, I see. That's a So does that mean that when it comes to your writing, you enjoy writing, but do you sometimes, like, I sometimes get it myself. Do you sometimes have confidence issues, or is it something that you just go by the by?
I'll just look at the writing and I'll just think, is this good? It's like, I can't tell. And there was a poem the other week that I wasn't sure whether to read on Zoom, and I posted it on Facebook and got loads of comments, and I thought, oh, well, it must be okay then, so I just read it, and everyone seemed to enjoy it. Or the good liars.
I can't think, I don't think that I strongly don't believe that people just didn't like had a brief chat before and went, right, everyone like Amanda's poem regardless. Wow. Well, so April 2019, Zoom became a public company, pricing them at $36 a share, and then now, wow. So basically, oh my god, their stock price has increased over nearly 1,000% between now and now,
Oh, wow.
and their market cap. So their value was around 16 billion, right, dollars, and now
Yeah.
their market cap is around 129 billion.
Oh, I missed out there.
Oh man, we would have had a different conversation. You would have been like, sorry, Dre, I gotta get my third yacht today. I'm in Monaco. Trading from Manchester to Monaco. What a different culture shock that is. Wow.
Oh, it is. Life is hard.
Yeah, it is. But yeah. So in terms of future projects and that, when it comes to your future projects, like, do you aim to have one book per year? Do you have multiple books going to happen? What is the plan with Amanda? Because I've seen you with your poetry, but I feel that you're much bigger fan of literally, writing a whole book, because of course you are the one that really helped and made that anthology that myself and other people are in. But yeah, tell me more.
I try and get one book out a year at least. Sometimes it works out more than that.
Hmm.
Like, I've re-released the first book in the Destiny Initiative, and then I already had the second one ready to go. So I thought, well, it's been a couple of years, I'll just bring that straight out, and then continue with the third one and bring that out in a few months. So technically, I've had 3 novels just there in a year.
Wow.
And then I also had Ghost of Me at the beginning of the year, and I've had a couple of chat books and a comedy book about all the things that you shouldn't do as a writer.
Oh, right, you made a comedy book. That's not on my research. What is this? Wow.
It's called How to Write Wrong. It's a bit like the Choose Your Own Adventure books that you might have read when you were younger.
Oh, is it one of those where, like, I remember when I was a kid, when you basically, like, go on a page and say, turn to page this if this happens, turn to page 15 to go to the dungeon or whatever.
Yeah, so this is a bit like this writer who's trying to make it big, and it keeps getting rejected, and he's got choices. Does he go to this open mic night, and then he reads for 20 minutes when it's a 3-minute slot, and he gets dragged off by security, and like some of the other options end up with him dying, like he starves to death or some other reason.
Wow. Let's have a look. Wow, that is mad. That is pretty mad. Like, wow. That is incredible. I have to say, that is incredible. Like, wow. I want to get that book as well. Like, wow. Like, that is mad. Wow. Sorry, just blown away, because, like, it's been so long since I've heard a book like that, So long. Hello?
Yeah, I added some nice little images to it as well to sort of bring the story to life, so you can see the different things that it gets up to.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And oh man, well, wow. I'm just looking at all your interviews and all that. Yeah, like, wow, like, yeah. I've obviously, like, one thing that we skipped upon, because obviously this is all about Amanda, but also you have this podcast called Reading in Bed, a monthly book review podcast with some guy called Andy N. I don't know if you heard of him, but tell me how did that come about?
He just keeps popping up when I try to record this podcast. Well, this guy called Andy, and every time I try to record the podcast, he just pops up and starts telling me about the books that he's read. I don't know who he is.
For all those that don't know, Amanda and Andy N, they're like AA batteries. They're going out with each other. Right. They're a team. It's not honestly like I can just imagine based on what you've just said, Amanda. Is it like basically you're just doing your work, typing stuff, and then he just knocks on the door and went, "Hey, we've got to record."
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It does seem like you both of course you both enjoy reading. You're both writers, but yeah, yeah, like how does it feel hosting your own podcast? Because obviously for me, you get used to it after a while, but how does it feel being the host with the most? I think it took a while for me to get used to it. I initially used to do one on my own where I just used to review the books, but it felt a bit weird just talking to myself for 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, I see. Fair enough. Yeah, I can fully understand that because basically, this podcast actually began nearly 4 years ago, actually, and for the first, I know. So for the first 20-something episodes, I was mostly talking without a co-host, or I had a special guest. But for a lot of the episodes back in the old days, so I did the first 20-something episodes in around mostly 2017. But like what happened is like I was mostly just talking to myself, and I realized that the podcast, I don't feel, you know what I mean? Like I always feel that podcasts are best when it comes to conversation, and I found even though I enjoy talking. Obviously I do, but I just find it weird. But yeah, that's why from episode 27 I said, right, man needs a co-host, and I messaged my mate Jackie Hyde, who's a professional wrestler that lives like not far from me. I'm like, bro, let's do a podcast. He's like, oh shit, yeah, boy. But yeah, that was cool. But yeah, yeah, like it seems so. Tell us, for everybody, where can they find the Reading in Bed podcast?
So it's on Anchor. I don't actually know the address off by heart, but if you're on Facebook, there's a Reading in Bed podcast group, and you can join that, and we always post the links. Or if you just follow me or Andy, we're always sharing it.
Woo! Of course, and of course we've got all your links on social media anyway. That's on the description below. Whoop whoop. And yeah, my question to you is that because obviously, as we're recording now, it seems to me that unfortunately Manchester might hit tier 3 lockdown. So for all those that don't understand, that's in another country. This country has been divided to tier 1, 2, and 3. 3 being the worst. So is that going to affect you? Like, is it going to be business as usual? Will you get your beans on toast? Tell me about it.
I'll try and stock up on beans. I don't think anything will really change since March, because I've just sort of locked myself down anyway and tried to stay away from everyone. And then if someone comes towards me, I just run away from them.
Wow, really?
Get back!
Back, you say, like you just poke them out with a 2-meter stick. No! Talk to me from 2 meters. Wow. So basically, so you're saying to me that, say for example, not that I will because of health and safety, because I live miles away, but say I go to Manchester and meet up with you and Andy, I'll be like, right, here's a stick. Talk in that direction.
Yeah, in fact, I've just taken to carrying a big 2-meter stick with me everywhere I go, so that works out okay now.
We just talk, or we literally just, like, I live and, like, I just talk to you from a bubble, like a literal big bubble. I'll tell you something funny. Well, the last time I travelled, this is a mad thing. The last time I travelled, like, a long distance, like a proper long distance, I actually did go to Manchester in March. But that was in early March, so it was mad because I'm just thinking to myself. So I went to the Arndale, And I went to like, I went, for example, because that was around the time when people were panicking over hand sanitizer and toilet paper.
Yeah, I remember that.
Literally. So I hung out with a mate of mine called Brew, and me and him, his real name's Jack, but we call him Brew anyway. We were just walking around, and he said to me, "I can't find any toilet paper." I'm like, "Oh no, man." I hope that we don't go back to those levels again.
No, I hope not, but I don't know how it's going to change. I feel it's lasted so long. It feels like it's going to last forever now.
Is it like this is how we're going to live? We're going to live in the virtual world.
Yeah.
Wow, that does sound incredibly mad ting indeed. But yeah, well, Amanda, before we go, tell us all about your links and all your social media and everything. The floor is yours.
So my main website is amandasteelewriter.com, and I've got everything on there. There's like a contact me section that has links to everything that I've ever done from the age of 5, or maybe a bit older, I don't know.
And also, what we actually didn't gloss on, we forgot the fact that you also do proofreading and that as well. So any writers that want any proofreading and all that kind of stuff is all on that website, amandasteelewriter.com. When it goes to the online store, you go on it and be like, "Fam, I need some copyright chisel done." Amanda Steele, she is the woman of steel. Don't even talk to Superwoman when you've got Amanda Steele. Is that correct?
That's right.
That's absolutely right.
Superwoman won't do your copywriting.
Exactly. I've just literally, I nailed it from the script we talked. I'm joking. We didn't have the script, but no, for real though, yeah. And obviously, you are also found on. I have it all right here. You're also found on Facebook, Twitter, all on Amanda S Writer on Twitter with the underscores in between the S because someone else stole Amanda Steele. How dare they? And
I know. How dare she be called by name?
I know. It's not that. Also, that does remind me. I know it's a very completely random question. Are you related to the writer Danielle Steele, or is it just pure coincidence?
It's just a coincidence. I think she's got an E at the end of her name. I could be wrong.
Hold on,
but mine doesn't have an E at the end.
Let me double check. Danielle. Oh no, she doesn't have an E on the end. Oh my god.
Oh, maybe she's my long lost relative then. I better track her down, see if she wants to lend me some money.
Oh, she's 73. She's meant to. Oh wow, she's 73. Hold on. Novelist. Oh, I don't know why I'm researching. Born in New York. German father and Portuguese mother. Is that anything close to you?
No, my mum's parents were Hungarian, so it's completely the wrong country.
I mean, Germany, Portuguese, like Danielle Steele. If you're listening right now, I don't know why you'd be listening, but if you're listening to this podcast, or if Claude Eric Lazar, Danny Zugader, William George Toff, John Triana, Thomas Perkins, essentially any of your former husbands that I've just read on the wiki, if you know anything about Danielle Steele and Amanda, oh my god, can you imagine if you do a Steele and Steele podcast?
Yeah, I think it's a very common name now, Steele.
Perhaps. And here's a very, very random fact, by the way, before we go. Danielle Steele has 9 kids. Mad ting. That's incredible.
And I'm not one of them.
But that would be absolutely, that would be crazy. But in any case, yeah, Amanda, have you got any last words to say?
No.
Just no?
I'll just go find John Cena and let him back in again.
All right, well, wow, John Cena, wow. I tried so hard not to bring any John Cena references, and you just do that.
Well, if he felt left out.
What, John Cena feel left out? Oh
yeah.
my. Oh man, I might need to add a John Cena like thumbnail to this. No, I'm joking, I won't. I might get into copyright dispute or something. But anyway. My name is DrayZera from DrayZera Uncensored, and this has been Amanda Steele.
Yeah, I'm still alive.
and we shall zera later. Goodbye.
Bye.